All right, so week 8, residency reflection. This week was a bit of a doozy. So we had, my co-resident and I had the lecture that we had to present to the students at GW that we were fully responsible for the entire lecture and lab for content. So that was just a little stressful, like finalizing the prep for that and practicing that, stuff like that was a little stressful. It went well. I felt like it went well. I was happy with my portions of the presentation and my portions of the lab. I felt like overall our timing could have been a little bit better, but that's also something that should hopefully come with more experience. But other than that, the week was a little rough, if I'm going to be honest. Just the timing with really prepping for that after each day in the clinic and feeling the stress of that kind of building up over the week. And then this week in my mentor sessions, I really felt incompetent. I'm going to be honest. I really felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I had a really strong neuroanatomical basis of what was going on based on their lesion, based on what I could read off of imaging and kind of what to expect, but then carrying over what I expected to see, what I saw based on impairment testing and kind of functional analysis. I was having trouble drawing that connection between that and what I wanted to do for intervention for the patient. And the concepts are there, but drawing that real quick clinical connection, I struggled with this week, and it was really frustrating. With my first mentor patient, I was kind of puzzled on what was going on. The OT, who's actually the OT neuro senior that was seeing the patient, was also kind of puzzled that was going on, so I felt okay that I was a little puzzled. But then when it came to my interventions, my ideas were really good, but just the actual implementation was not quite how I wanted it, and I was struggling with kind of my hand placement for facilitation techniques. And then I had that patient be my mentor session patient, and then my mentor was like, well, do you mind if I try some techniques? And just the way she's able to facilitate with her hands and position her body just comes so natural for her now. And for me, it's like something I'm still working on thinking through. So it was a little frustrating. Second mentor patient kind of presented very similarly. He had a different deficit, but he presented very similarly. And I felt like I had a really good idea of kind of what was going on, and then he changed from the day before when I had seen him, and I struggled to kind of draw that quick clinical connection. And then my mentor was like, well, let's try this, and we tried it, and it worked. And I was really frustrated with myself because the intervention that we tried and that worked was an intervention that I had found a randomized control trial for the day before for the previous mentor session, and I just didn't think to carry it over, even though the deficit was kind of the same. And so I was just really frustrated with myself that I'm not quite making those connections as quickly as I want to, or without as much prompting as I feel like I want myself to need. And the mentors are great. They're super helpful with being like, look, it's okay, like you're still a brand new therapist, and you're still a new neurotherapist, and you have a good foundation and you have good thoughts and ideas. It's just now it's integrating all of them. So I was very frustrated, and I think the stress of the lecture coming up, I wasn't sleeping as well, and all that kind of stuff was just making me feel more frustrated with my mentor sessions. So yeah, it was a very frustrating week. I didn't get to the gym as many times as I wanted to, which I feel like is kind of becoming a theme, so I still have to figure out a better strategy to emphasize that. But on the other hand, I felt like I was able to really control myself during the presentation to the students, and during lab I didn't feel like I let nervousness get to me, or that I was super anxious or anything. So I felt like my ability to kind of regulate myself and regulate my stress and anxiety going into that was really good, which was encouraging for me, because it's something I talk a lot about with diaphragmatic breathing, and that I try and consciously work on at least a little bit daily. So I was glad about that. That kind of was a big win towards the end of the week. And then yesterday, Friday, had the opportunity to talk with Joe Ricotta for the second podcast, The Beer and a Thought with Dr. Rip, and attend a Penn State Action Club on motor control. So kind of bunch of researchers from around the country join in, and basically they get 10 uninterrupted minutes of discussion or of presentation, and then after that, anybody can kind of jump in and ask a question or challenge. And the thought process is to really challenge the presentation and challenge the work that they're doing to help us get a better connection and a better idea of what motor control is, because it's really poorly defined and understood. So Joe and I talked about that in the podcast. It was about an hour and a half. I might cut some parts of it out. And this upcoming week, I'm going to post the first episode with Tim Reynolds, and then post bi-weekly, just so I can make sure that I have enough time to build up a little bit of a content log and build up enough guests that I can have consistent content. And so I've got the 2 already recorded. I just got to finish some of the editing and stuff, and then I've got another one queued up to record. So hopefully that'll start rolling out a little bit, and then hopefully moving into this week I can feel a little bit more confident with my mentor sessions and how I'm making that connection between what I expect to see, what I am seeing, and getting a little bit better at what I'm seeing, and then interpreting that into interventions. And I think not having the presentation towards the end of the week is going to help me do that. And so yeah, that's how the week went. It was a little bit rougher than I was hoping it was going to. Well, mentally taxing and stressful, but also understanding that that's part of it, and just excited to keep going, and excited to push myself to try and draw those connections so I don't feel so frustrated, and do some extra things like do some extra movement analysis type things outside of clinic, and try and do a little bit more of that thinking process and writing it down beforehand, so then when I have to go and do it in the moment, I'll get a little bit better at it. But that's this week's residency reflection, and excited for the next week and to see what's going to keep coming. So thanks for watching.